my PPE video presentation. Positive psychology. Positive psychology is the scientific study of human flourishing, an applied approach to optimal functioning. It is also defined as the study of the strengths and virtues that enable individuals, communities, and organizations to thrive. There are three types for positive psychology. Positive subjective experience, which includes life satisfaction, subjective well-being, positive mood, happiness, flow, and a meaningful life. Then there's positive traits, which includes optimism, hope, positive thinking, active coping, resiliency, and religious beliefs. Positive institutions, which includes workplaces and schools. How can positive psychology be applied for orphans? Studies show orphanage children exhibit more sadness than children not living in an orphanage. These studies conclude that a child's environment plays a significant role in their happiness or sadness. What are the effects of children living in orphanages on their personality development? Children living in orphanages exhibit attachment difficulties, which leads to problems forming new relationships. Attention-seeking behavior is displayed, low self-esteem is projected, and since orphans grow up in the care of an institution, they display a dependable need for it, thus fearing their futures and the prospect for leaving their comfort zone. How can positive psychology help orphans? These problems can be corrected through positive psychological practices, thus facilitating healthy emotional growth in children institutionalized in orphanages. This can be achieved by utilizing interventions that would cultivate the qualities the three pillars of positive psychology embody. The positive interventions for orphans can include child-to-care ratios must be lowered, training should be provided to orphanage staff to better identify and address children's emotional needs, courses should be organized for guidance, resiliency development, and community development, and most importantly, group activities such as art, music, team sports should be developed to increase flow. The Dali Lama gave a speech regarding the seeds of love and compassion. During the Dali Lama speech, he addresses how love and affection a child receives from their parents during the crucial emotional developmental phases greatly impacts their future capabilities for love, compassion, optimism, and overall healthy emotional functioning. The two theories in the text most parallel with the Dalai Lama's belief are Erikson's psychosocial development and Horney's interpersonal psychoanalytic theory. With regards to Erikson and his developmental theory, people experience various developmental stages throughout their life. Depending on how each stage was experienced, the individual follows a pattern of healthy emotional growth or left with personality flaws. It is during these first few stages of this development the role of a healthy parental unit is considered to be most crucial. The first stage, trust versus mistrust, occurs in the first year of life and is achieved based upon the parent's caretaking abilities. If the child receives adequate care, which involves food and basic needs and stimulation, the child will develop trust. When compared to the Dalai Lama's theory, if the child is the product of a neglectful home, they will develop mistrust. The second, which is the second life of the child, autonomy versus shame and doubt, the child acquires a sense of autonomy. And if the vulnerable child is not supported by a protective parent, this means when they're exploring, learning new things, they will develop a sense of shame and doubt. Third, initiative versus guilt. During the ages of 4 and 5, children make decisions regarding their actions and the person they want to be, with identifying the parent. Therefore, it is difficult for a child raised in a neglectful environment to learn how to love and show compassion if they never experience it. Once again, this ties into what the Dalai Lama had said. Industry versus inferiority. The remainder of childhood is devoted to school-age tasks. A child who learns to work until completion achieves a sense of satisfaction, thus giving them a sense of industry. While the school system can assist during this stage, parents play a crucial role. Therefore, if a child is raised by neglectful parents, the child may be lacking in motivational skills. Teachers usually expect children to arrive at school with some sort of motivation taught by the parents. So this might lead to frustration from the teacher projected on the child and help them with developing a sense of inferiority. The 4 stages that are listed are probably the most crucial times because they set the stage for the rest of the developmental stages in Erikson's history. So if the development is experienced as not good, the lingering effects are obviously going to affect the identity versus identity confusion. While at this stage, an adolescent may have peers to compare to their lack of parental guidance, they'll still be really affected in this stage by what happened in the earlier stages. The final stages of Erikson's developmental theory will also experience a ripple effect from the early stages not being properly met. For example, and briefly stated, intimacy versus isolation. How will the child know to cultivate healthy relationships? Generativity versus stagnation. How can a person guide the next generation if they were never properly guided themselves? Integrity versus despair. How can an individual look on their life as meaningful if it was filled with hardships and strained relationships? And finally, dystonic resurgence or gerotranscendence. Basically what this is at our latest stages of life when we're facing death. You can either ruminate on the bad things that happened in your life and not move forward to a cosmic transcendence, or you can have a healthy upbringing and look back on everything you accomplished in your life and the good things that happened to you and therefore reach a gerotranscendence. Most children that had those difficult stages, with the exception of some cases, do not reach gerotranscendence. Another theory, which is Horney's interpersonal psychoanalytic theory, which according to Horney, neurotic problems can begin early on due to a lack of genuine warmth and affection provided by the family. Parental behavior that does not foster feelings of safety will lead to neurotic development. This can occur through parental neglect, abuse, indifference, and rejection of the child. Much like Erikson's developmental theories previously mentioned, Horney's theory also deeply resonates with the point that Dali Lama was trying to address. Parents who treat children with criticism or lack of love create anxious, poorly adjusted children. However, parents who express affection and encouragement produce young adults with valuable traits of love and compassion. And that is my PPE video presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.